Okay, looks like we're doing pretty good. Everybody again, especially if you're watching back on YouTube, because I know basically nobody's here anyway right now on the Twitch stream. But hello everyone. Today we're just going to be trying to finish off the Netherwing faction because I stayed on a little bit later yesterday and just sort of went into the mines that I was talking about and was just farming eggs down there and getting like 4 drops at a time. So I sped up like the amount of rep I needed. Basically, I cut it down from like 7 days to 2, and then to like 1.8 or something like that, looking at the math. So hopefully I should be able to get it done today, and combined with the daily stuff and potentially some egg farming down there in the mines. I also messed around with my whole audio setup, so hopefully it's better quality than it was yesterday. I added a noise gate, I flipped my microphone upside down, so hopefully it's not picking up as much like keyboard clattering and mouse clicking. Also decided we'd listen to the Burning Crusade soundtrack since we're in, the Burning Crusade, surprisingly. And I'm also trying a different way of like recording this for the YouTube side. Basically, I've got a separate program recording the screen now, like doing the screen capture, and then I'm also streaming at the same time using OBS. So hopefully we're good. Hopefully this will be higher quality, and I hope to like kind of keep that progress going. Hopefully to the point where we can have it a good standard for all the streams rather than just some or others. But yeah, the plan today, because this isn't actually on my like standard stream days, is to A, test out a new setup, and B, try and get this done. It's one of the main reasons I started doing the whole like Twitch YouTube thing again this time, is just to like archive stuff I'm doing in games. Because I realised recently, kind of looking back at some of my old stuff, it is just nice to be able to look back at like old memories and old stuff you've done in games in like an actual video format. Because obviously you remember some stuff. Like some things are always going to stick with you, like big moments in games. I always tell the like same story of stuff that happened to me in DayZ when I get asked about it, because it's these like, it's kind of like D&D stories, right? They're these like really unique, sort of once in a lifetime events that happen within games. And they're experiences you want to share and like continue to tell people about, I feel. And yeah, I guess I'll go into the DayZ story, why not? So used to play a lot of DayZ. Used to really like it, especially like interacting with the community, basically, just having like these weird and wonderful like adventures with random ass people that you've never met from like all over the world. So one day just playing through DayZ, I can't remember what the map was. I used to like the snowy ones, so one of those probably. But I was down at an airstrip and I saw a guy bleeding out on the tarmac, so I went over and like blood bagged him, patched him up, did all the usual stuff you did back then to like look after people on servers and stuff. You know, just helped him out to be nice. Like I generally tried to be, like I said, I enjoyed the community aspect, so generally tried to be like nice to people rather than a dickhead like some people in DayZ. And ended up patching this guy up, and then like a few hours later, still playing on the same server, still progressing. The guy like comes over and starts talking to me again, flying a helicopter. Turns out the guy I blood bagged was like the owner of the server and knew where all the stuff spawned and everything. So he like picked me up in a helicopter, picked up another guy that helped him after me, and we like took us all to this airstrip and geared us up and gave us all like the best stuff that from the loot tables. That was just a really cool little moment. We also have another one of again, snowy map, DayZ. There's like a bunch of bunkers all over the map. I can never remember the names of them. It's been years since I've played it now. But there were these bunkers, and we'd like hid out in one and logged out in it. And a guy basically came in, was like camping it as well, and basically killed us as soon as we logged in. But then, for some reason, rather than respawning me as a fresh character, I think because I'd literally just logged in, the game respawned me back in the bunker behind him with all of my gear. So while he was looting our bodies that were filled with gear from like the day before of playing, just unloaded a clip into the back of him. It was a it was a fun time. He definitely wasn't expecting there to be just another fully geared version of me stood behind him while he was looting us. Because who would, to be honest? I definitely wouldn't have expected just a duplicate of the guy I just killed to be there. I remember him like being real mad and getting an admin and stuff, and the admin being like, "Yep, he did nothing wrong. There's no reports of hacks. He literally just respawned in the cave with you." It's a pretty fun day, to be honest. I think a lot of people have those like memorable stories of playing through different games. I think DayZ is one of the games that allowed a lot of that. I think it's the term a lot of people use is like emergent gameplay and stuff. Like things just happen because of the community as opposed to like game like forcing you into doing stuff. I feel like a lot of that also happens in kind of more classic WoW instances. I've not really heard many stories of that sort of stuff happening in more modern WoW, unfortunately. I'm sure some of it still happens, especially on like RP servers and stuff, where people are playing characters already, sort of in the same way like D&D stories come from. Because you're playing these fantasy characters and acting out in ways that normally you wouldn't, so it creates these unique scenarios. But then obviously, you know, stick with you. But honest, I'm not entirely sure where I got onto that rambling ran. Oh yeah, like archiving gameplay and like stuff that's happened to me in games. Which I feel like is, like I was saying at the start, something that I want to do more of. Like, maybe not just WoW, but I'm kind of focused on WoW at the minute anyway. Like I was saying in the previous stream, it's been kind of... it's kind of become sort of the backbone of my like day-to-day routine and helped me build on other stuff. I'm hoping I can continue to do that with WoW. And eventually create, you know, more and more like interesting content, hopefully. I was thinking recently about potentially doing like a custom like Nuzlocke type thing in a Pokemon game, because I got a friend who's doing that recently, and it's been kind of prompting my interest in it more and more. I kind of wanted to do like a randomized type thing, but looking at that, you have to get up like set up emulators and get ROMs and a whole bunch of other stuff, and it's getting the emulator is not necessarily a problem, but getting the ROMs, considering it's slightly dodgy territory anyway. And then there's also the fact that it's always hosted on very dodgy websites, so you never know if the ROM is the only thing you're getting. It's not exactly great. So I was thinking about potentially doing it in, maybe in Sword and Shield, or one of the like fan-made Pokemon games that you can download. I think I still have one somewhere on my hard drive that I downloaded ages ago to play and just never got around to it. I think it's Insurgency or something like that. I think it has its own like Fakemon or whatever they're called, and like I don't need to mind that, alternate versions of other Pokemon. It's like there's a Charizard that's a ghost type or something like that. Which I thought might be an interesting way to sort of spice things up, even if, you know, I can't get an actual a randomizer going. It's at least a more unique experience rather than just, you know, generic Pokemon. I feel like randomizers plus like a Nuzlocke is more entertaining as well, because you literally never know what you're gonna run into. You could be going down a path expecting to find, like, you know, the basic stuff, and it turns out, no, this is actually a patch of grass filled with Kyogres or whatever else. Like, it can make and break runs really easy, just because of how like unpredictable the whole circumstances. Yeah, I thought that might be something fun. Like, I kind of want to focus, like I said, on WoW for now, but kind of enjoying streaming yesterday and kind of continuing to do it today as well, even though I didn't plan on streaming today at all. I thought about it and then just decided to go with it. I think I might sort of just do off days where, like, I focus on WoW most of the time, and just do random days when I feel like it playing, you know, Nuzlocke or some other game that I'm interested in at the time. I'm not sure how much I would consider documenting other stuff I do, because I do most of my, like, work on a computer. Like, I 3D model, I do a bit of games programming and stuff. Nothing, like, fancy with actual technical coding languages, it's, like, Unreal blueprints and stuff. I'm not sure how interesting or entertaining that would be for a stream. Also not sure whether, like, the legality of that falls into place, like, I don't know, I'd have to do some research into it, I guess. Because I'd essentially be streaming the creation of a product or whatever. I suppose people do that for game jams all the time, so it might not be as big a deal as I think it is. Getting really unlucky with egg drops today as well. I've only got one egg so far. Oh, and there's other people here now. That is most unfortunate. I guess we'll bugger off and go and do some else for a bit, if there's already people down here farming. Because we have all our kills and other stuff. We are basically 4,000 rep off now. Yeah, with all the it's this camera, I really need to figure out how to fix that, because that's a real issue. Yeah, while I was farming eggs down here yesterday, I collected so much crystal and ore that I literally never need to mine another patch of ore ever again. The only issue is the Netherwing crystals are soulbound and have no sell price. So despite the fact that I queued like 2,000 of them last night, it's completely worthless. It's like crystals I can't do anything with other than destroy them. It's not the best, I'll be honest. Kinda hoping I can just get a bunch more eggs today. I was hoping I'd get way more down there in the caves, to be honest, going by like the average last night. I was getting 2 to 4 eggs like every run through the mine I did. Looks like there are loads of people here, like, farming. I guess kind of early in the days when everyone just jumps in and tries to get everything as quickly as possible. Which is weird, because I'd expect more people to be around, like, you know, during the evening when everyone's back from work and everything else. I expected then to have been when everyone is here farming for this stuff still, because it's like the Skyguard rep. I'm kind of dreading starting that again, because the last time I tried to do that, there was just always people running laps around it, just killing literally fucking everything. You basically couldn't do the rep grind, and that was before the whole, like, here's 50% extra XP, or extra rep on stuff. I'm kind of dreading going back there again and seeing just how many people there are now. Because there will be so many more people now that have started it and have got like halfway through and didn't finish it in time. So I can imagine there's going to be even more people just sat waiting for things to spawn and running laps around it and just getting rep. That's why I kind of stuck to doing stuff here, because there's generally only like 2 or 3 people around, and like I said, you can just run laps around the mines and get pretty consistent egg drops. Although apparently not today, I got 1. Oh, I was gonna say, did they patch this or something? Because these guys used to just spawn on top of you constantly. Not seen any update patches come out, so I assume it's just being slow, yeah. Like it's warming up a bit now. Yeah, we're getting there. 3,000 rep in now. I think I worked out the basic math of it to be like 2,200 a day. And then you get egg drops on top of that, which is a thing that can push it in different directions. Yeah, the more egg drops you get, the higher rep you gain per day. I'll just do the same thing I did yesterday with this. I'll finish this up and then fly over, grab all the meat, come back, fly a lap round while I drop off meat on everyone, and then hand everything in. I think this should push us up to about 2,000 rep left. Have a quick check over here before I leave. I can't remember if it was on stream or when I was farming stuff yesterday. I like flew around here and there were like 3 eggs all on top of each other basically. Like this one would spawn, the one on top of there would spawn, and the one in the mouth of the thing. Oh, there's a lot of other people flying around apparently today. I just saw a griffin fly past me. Yeah, I want to get this finished today, and there's loads of people farming. Really unfortunate. I'm just hoping none of them know about the mine trick, but I'm assuming that's like pretty common knowledge considering this expansion came out like, what, 10 years ago, if not longer? I would assume everyone has this add-on that just tells them where all the eggs spawn as well. Yeah, there's people like just running around everywhere today. Damn. I'm gonna be lucky to find any egg spawns, I think. Where's that guy disappear? I guess I went out of his render distance. Yeah, I think it's gonna be a slow grind up, unfortunately. But we will get there, I am sure. Yeah, I just gotta hope the mine is relatively clear when I get there. It's the like 3rd griffin I've seen flying around here. I'm surprised so many people still like fly around on just the basic griffins, because some of these like really fucking cool mounts are super easy to get. Like the Emberworm that I was flying around on like all of yesterday. It's a 20% drop chance mount that you get from just like, you know, picking up some crystals in Karazhan. Like it's old content now, and it's really not. I wouldn't say it's challenging to complete it. I'm kind of surprised more people don't just have these cool mounts to fly around. But people will, you know, grind for things like the Netherwing faction? I don't know. I feel like some of these mount farmers have some odd priorities. Like, look how cool this mount is, and it's 20% drop chance. Like, I think one of the highest drop chance mounts you can get from, like, dungeons and stuff, especially. I'm gonna imagine the time lost Drake is technically higher, because it's like 98% or whatever, isn't it? Which, when I saw that, that was a real, like... That's really gonna screw some people over. I don't know my luck. If I went and farmed for the time lost Drake, I would get the 2% of it not dropping. Because that is just my luck and odds with stuff. Like, stuff just never works out. Apparently I've not collected this appearance, but I have collected this appearance. I do really like that album. I'm glad I got it. It just makes collecting stuff just slightly more satisfying for that just little music cue every now and again. I really like this mount as well, to be honest. I like a lot of the mounts in this game. I feel like that's just a standard. If it looks slightly cool, chances are I like it. I like these Netherwing ones, to be honest. They have like almost a sharky sort of appearance. Like their tail has like that sort of shark tail aesthetic to it. Their like heads kind of do too. They look a little more intimidating than your like standard kind of sausage drake. The undead ones do as too. The undead ones do as well. They have their like, you know, bony skeletal structure. They also have like unique heads, which is weird. Because apart from like a couple of them, most of the drakes all have basically the same model. It's just a palette swap. But then like a couple of the undead ones all have different heads and different like it's almost like a mantle or a headdress. Like the undead ones have their big like it's almost like the dinosaur that has like a big headdress bone plate thing. And then the amber worm whatever has its like goat horns, the like curled ones. And then you've got the standard drakes that just have this weird like sausage body. I like the dragons. I like all the dragons as well. They're all in my favourite thing, but some of them do just look cooler than others. That is unfortunate. So part of my like checklist thing for Get Ready for Shadowlands was to get to 75 like Northrend engineering to get all the cool little engineering things like Molly and Jeeves. And then I went on my Demon Hunter and realised that you can't actually use Molly without having Northrend engineering up to, what is it, 50? Otherwise you literally just can't use it. It's just a dud toy. So this mailbox that I like grinded up for, put all this work in to get, literally is useless. To 3/4 of my characters. Like, it's kind of insane. I assume Jeeves will also be the same thing. He'll probably require, yeah, requires Northrend Engineering 75. Which is again slightly unfortunate, because I was kind of using Jeeves to kind of give me the Kyrian ability without actually choosing Kyrian. Because the steward thing literally does the same... It does the same job as Jeeves. I don't know if it says in his description. Yeah. Where is it? Gives you bank access. Skilled engineers can perform mundane tasks such as buying, selling, and repairing for anyone. Like, it literally does what the steward for the Kyrian does, but just for engineers. It's kind of weird that the whole Kyrian thing is a Covenant power when it literally is just an engineering item from, again, like 10 years ago. I still like the idea of all the Covenant abilities. But I feel like looking at them, this whole idea of them insisting on... Oh. Well, my recording just ended itself. Cool. That's the thing apparently it can do, it just stops. Yeah, looking at the current abilities and them insisting that they can make things balanced is kind of unlikely looking at it, because literally every Covenant ability is completely different to the next one. So no matter what they do, one of them is always going to be the best 90% of the time. The only way they can actually balance those Covenant abilities, I feel, is to literally make everyone have the same ability and just change the aesthetic of them. Looking at like the basic abilities, right? The signature abilities that all the Covenants have. The Maldraxxus, the Necrolord guys have the Bubble Shield. The Vampires have their Blood Door. The Kyrian have their Steward. The Night Fae have their Fox form, right? a simpler way to balance all of those abilities, because looking at them from a gameplay standpoint, I feel like the Necrolord one is just going to be better 90% of the time. Because it literally gives you a shield and negates some damage, which means, like, melee DPS can just stand in the fire, right? Because they have a shield that just protects them from a portion of that damage. Which is a massive help. There's, like, Azerite powers already that do that in the game. It's basically the same thing. Except it doesn't recharge in the same way the Azerite power does. But that one is just flat out, from what I can tell, from a gameplay standpoint, the signature ability that's best. An easy way to balance it would just be to give them all, like, traversal abilities in the same way that the Night Fae and the Venthyr have. Except just give Kyrian, like, you know, some angel wings that they can fly around on for 30 seconds, or give the the Necrolords, like a teleport type thing, like, I don't know, a Nerubian pulls you under the ground and pops you back up on the other side, or you, like, ride on a wave of bones and, like, you know, rotting flesh or something. Like, there's a bunch of different ways that you can balance those abilities by just making them all similar in some fashion or other. And just looking at the like, basic hunter abilities that some of the factions have, I feel like the Night Fae, the hunter at least, from, like, a Beastmaster perspective, is better than basically all the others, because you throw down, like, a bubble on the floor, and it just debuffs everything and increases your damage output, right? I feel like that is always going to be the choice I take on a hunter. So wouldn't it have been easier to just balance all the others by giving everybody the same ability and just changing the aesthetic of it? Like, for the Night Fae, it's a glowing blue circle. For the Necrolords, it could have been, like, a Scourge Plague, like, emanating from a cauldron or something you throw down. For the Venthyr, it could have been, like, a blood pool. For the Kyrian, it could have been, like, a blessing of light on the floor. Like, there's so many ways they could have, like, very easily just given everyone the same ability. Like, yeah, sure, it wouldn't have been as varied and interesting as what they're trying to do, but it would have been far more balanced. And it would mean that one Covenant isn't just going to be the best for all of them anyway. Because as much as they're insistent on the idea that all of these Covenant abilities are going to be good for something, if you look at the boss design from, like, especially PFA, there is going to be one Covenant ability that is going to be good for half, if not more, of the bosses, right? Because if you can have a higher increased DPS and kill a boss before it can even summon its ad wave, why would you need like, an anti-ad wave ability, right? Because you're just going to kill the boss before it even arrives because you all have the better Covenant ability. So I don't think there really is a way to make these situational abilities work unless you give everyone access to them. And just make them, like, I think Beliwar said it in his recent video, like, make them a talent, basically. Like, give everyone access to a, like, extra row of talents, and have those be Covenant related, but make them kind of similar to each other, and therefore it creates a balanced system, because no one's getting access to an ability that's just straight up better than another ability. I feel like that's something that Blizzard will probably just straight up refuse to do. Also, yeah, it's getting very hard to farm stuff down here because there's other people killing everything at the same time as me. Yeah, that was a long-ass rant about Shadowlands Covenants that came out of nowhere. I'm thinking about maybe making a an add-on list, actually, for the Twitch page. I don't know if that would be useful to anybody. Just a list of the general add-ons that I use, because obviously this backpack is very different from the standard one. I actually really prefer this backpack add-on to literally every other one I've used. They're, like, not auto-updating is a little irritating, but the fact that it just automates everything into sections, and then you can create your own ones as well, like this here, the protected items one I made. And I also made one specifically for Hearthstones there. So you can really easily organize your bag without having to put everything into separate boxes all over the screen. It's just an automatic bag organizer. I think it's called AdiBags or something like that. And then from like a general UI standpoint, I just use Bartender and can't remember the name off the top of my head. The add-on that literally lets you like put different skins on stuff. Masquerade, I think it is. And then I downloaded a specific skin that just did this to everything, which I think looks really nice. And I tried to mimic it a little bit with my chat cover now, so it kind of matches in with the UI a little nicer. And then I'm no, big streamer and probably don't need a chat cover, but I don't exactly want to take the risk with some of the random people in the WoW community, Especially when you fly through like a major city and there's 20,000 people spamming dumb shit in the chat. Kinda don't want that all over my stream, So instead we got a nice bit of artwork that covers it. We are really getting unlucky on these egg drops though, damn. And we can definitely do this today. It's 2,000, so we literally need like 10 eggs. There's another 5,000 XP quest I haven't done yet as well, actually. 5,000 rep, I always say XP. I'm just so used to looking at it as like a level up system, so it always comes to my mind as experience points rather than everything else. But yeah, there's another 500 rep quest, so probably not too far off, Probably only need like 8 eggs. Jesus. 8 eggs is really not that hard to get if we get lucky with drops. Or spawns, both go good. Nope. Jesus. Down this camera. I'm gonna have to just start using like keyboard turning rather than using the camera to move around because goddamn. I imagine nobody really appreciates the random spinning camera. I certainly don't, I'm the one playing. Yeah, I'm just gonna either stay for a sec, I'm just gonna get to the bathroom. And we're back. I feel like I might need to make some sort of break screen of some kind. Just because I've done that like the past 2 streams, where I've had to like run off midway through and then come back like 2 seconds later. I feel like it might be good just to have a thing to let people know if they're like coming by that I'm not like me just sitting still in a room not saying anything is not the content of the stream. I mean, most of this is just to archive and also just record my thoughts on things too. Going for that egg. But yeah, I'd like it also to be somewhat entertaining for the people who do pass by. The viewership is kind of just a bonus, really. I'm feeling far more confident with it today. I feel like I need to get past the those. I need to get past the whole saying a lot. Like it kind of punctuates my speech quite heavily, especially when I'm just talking about stuff for a long period of time. Unless I'm full on ranting about a subject or I know exactly what I want to say about something. I feel like they kind of break up a lot of what I say. My bags are really filling up, actually. I also can't tell if my my screen recording is actually recording anything or not, because the recording symbol is gone and it... I don't know. I think I might just have to look at different screen capture software, because I used to use Shadowplay a lot when I was doing YouTube stuff. And it records in a really nice quality, and the audio is usually pretty good, but it also has a lot of problems where it just does this sort of thing, where it will just stop recording, or it will not record things when you've told it to. I also use it a lot for creating like turntables and fly-throughs of my work for 3D modeling and games dev stuff. And I've had a lot of problems with it during those things as well. Because it also records itself. Whereas most like recording software like OBS, for example, unless I tell you it's recording with OBS, it's kind of just a guess, right? Otherwise you have to... It might be OBS, it might be the other software, I can't even remember the name of it, but they used to be like competing different brands of software for streaming and recording purposes. Whereas with Shadowplay, it sticks a massive black and green sticker in the right-hand corner when it starts recording, and it does it every single time. So you literally have to start recording and wait for it to go away, and then you can actually do what you need it to do. Which is just kind of obnoxious, to be honest. I don't mind that being a thing. The whole, like, banner that comes over, and the recording logos and everything. Like, that's fine if it didn't capture that in the recording itself. But the fact it captures it in the recording means that you have to edit it out afterwards. Which just creates more work, and when you're on, like, a time schedule, or you're trying to get something done at least as quickly as possible and professionally as possible, it's kind of an issue, you know? Covers up a whole bunch of stuff you don't want it to. Kind of considering where it is I go next from here in WoW, in terms of, like, you know, rep grinding for stuff. As like I was saying earlier, I don't really want to go and try and do the Shatari Skyguard unless I was doing it, like, with a group of people. Because just getting that grinding done is so irritating when there's, like, a whole bunch of other people farming there at the same time. Which is kind of the same here as well, but at least here, like I said, you can come down in the mine, you can just run through and murder everything. Even if people have picked up the eggs, you've still got a chance of getting an egg from every single mob you kill down here, which is a far better, like, average than, like, the chance of you finding an egg on top of a rock. Whereas, like, with the Skyguard stuff, you have to kill specific mobs in that zone, pick up items, and then you can summon a boss that if someone else just flies by and one-taps before you can do anything, well, you've got to go do all that grinding again to get that boss summoned again, just so you can kill the thing to progress the story. Get a little more rep, and then you can do the whole thing again, and it's just kind of irritating. Whereas, like, with this, you can kind of put in as little or as much effort as you want. Like, I could literally just do the dailies, leave it, and then not do any of this egg farming. And I would have this done, like, tomorrow, right? But I'm making a push to get this done today, because it's the next wave of beta stuff for Shadowlands tomorrow, so, you know, might have other games to play other than BFA. And also the fact that it's reset day tomorrow, and I kind of want to play through all the raids and dungeons and stuff again for the week. I don't really want to be, like, farming dailies over here to get rep for this thing. And I'll do the Argent Crusade because, I've actually done pretty well until just then with the The Argent Crusade rep because it's in the same place as, like, 4 different raids that I need to do or whatever. But I did tick off, the Eye of Eternity or whatever it's called this week, which is really nice. I don't have to go farm that anymore because I got both the blue drakes from them. And I also did the dungeon underneath it with the Drake Rider. I got a friend to help me do the, God damn it. Got a friend to help me do the Amber one, and then I did the red and the green myself. So I've, basically finished most of the Lich King ones now. I've just got Icecrown, Ulduar, and a Pinnacle left to do, I think. I think Uthgard Pinnacle will be the one that I'm doing the longest out of all of them. Unless I get, you know, really lucky today, or tomorrow, maybe. It's the last day before reset today, so... New week, tomorrow, maybe we'll get there. I am gonna go turn in these, and I'm gonna fly off and do that quest, and hopefully that other hunter has moved on by the time I get back. And then we're hopefully going to get the rest of those eggs and finish off the Netherwing. Which is kind of my goal for this stream, but I've only been going for like 40 minutes. I thought it was going to take me longer, but I realised just how little rep I actually left over. So unless the rest of those eggs we need to get take literally forever down here, which is entirely possible because it's complete RNG, we might be done kind of early today, so I might actually do some other stuff on this stream too, because I still have Throne of Thunder and Siege of Orgrimmar to run twice. I can't do Throne of Thunder a second time because I haven't done like the prerequisites or whatever to get the portal for my Demon Hunter. But we can do Siege of Orgrimmar twice. I've not actually tried Siege of Orgrimmar with a melee character yet. I don't know how irritating it's going to be. I know they changed the I think it's the Galakraz fight. So it is possible to do it solo, but I've not tried it on a melee character, so I'm not sure how much of a pain in the ass that's going to be, so I might not do that on stream, just in case it's very irritating. But I will do Throne of Thunder if we have time. Because I actually quite like that raid. Like, just the uniqueness of all the bosses, the visual design of that whole thing, like... As much as some people really crapped on Pandaria when it came out, I actually love that expansion, like, visually. I think it's beautiful. And I actually can't wait until Shadowlands comes out, and I can play through it all the way through from, like, 10 to 50. That is something I want to do. What are those count as? Oh, beasts. I might actually tame one of those, because they look really fucking cool. that chimera really distracted my train of thought, actually, because I was going to say something and now I really don't remember. Um. Uh. Nope, that's gone. I do need to empty my inventory. That is a point. It is filled with talons, which sell for 2 gold per 20. I mean, it's not a terrible. Like, you know what? That's actually pretty good considering I just grind those guys for eggs. Like, just the extra bit of gold on the side's pretty good. And I've also got all these appearances to send over to my my dwarf. You know, if these shoulder pads were higher poly, these would actually be really cool. Like the battered one and then the like pristine one on the other side. It's kind of got a got all these Burning Crusade things with like just random bits of armor missing. It looks so bad. Yeah, the shoulders have got kind of a Sour Fang thing going with the like one shoulder thing. I think there is actually a bunch of those in the game now, isn't there? I'm not sure if it's true, but I think I heard something about a I think in Shadowlands where you can have separate shoulder customizations, which would be cool as well. I'm not sure exactly which shoulders I would swap in for this. Maybe like mix and match more of the Gnomeregan stuff in to like match with the goggles. Otherwise, I'm actually kind of a fan of my transmog. I know it's only like 4 sets, if that. Like the cape from I think PvP. This stuff is like the basic PvP set that you get from just leveling in BFA. The belt and all this is pre-order stuff. This is Legion. I think even the gun is like basic leveling 7th Legion stuff. I do have those, like the slightly fancier ones. I do kind of want to get some of this stuff on my warrior, the plate stuff. Like the plate versions of it look really cool, especially the helmets, the like full helm ones. I think those look really cool. But I'm kind of focusing my warriors like transmog I have in my head for my warrior is like more focused on the like the flaming aesthetic that the heritage armor has. It's a shame I can't bring it up on the gnome. Like I know I wouldn't be able to like equip it because obviously it's dwarf heritage stuff, but it'd be cool to be able to just like, you know, look at the sets you have. So I have got like a good portion of stuff from a whole bunch of these. No. I'm missing like half the Blackwing layer and half the Molten Core set. Also, this Molten Core set, I don't think it was intended to be worn by a gnome, because it just looks... It looks real gross, I'll be honest. This whole, like, the shorts and the chest piece is just... It's just wrong, man. It's just wrong. The boots are kind of cool, the shoulders are cool. I even kind of like the helmet, even though it's a little weird. Even the gloves are fine. It's just this part is just no, man. It's just a no from me. Right, onwards we go. We're going over here. Yes. Yeah, I think these are kind of my favourite, like, generic dragons. Well, not even generic dragons, to be honest. But the Drakes of the Wind, I think, are really cool. These. I really like this one, but I really prefer the colour palette of this. The, like, the red next to the blue is just a really nice, like, contrast. It's a really cool mount. It is essentially just like a higher poly version of these old things. It's just done up a little nicer, basically, which is cool. But yeah, I really need to get some more of the Proto Drakes, to be honest. I mean, I'd really like that blue one to drop today, that would be real nice. You know, we'll see how that goes. Yeah, I need to remember to empty my inventory before I get back on the flight path. That's 750 plus the 500 from this. We're gonna need another 4 eggs-ish. 3 or 4. Gonna be real close. Be good if these guys could drop eggs, considering they're like, I don't know, vaguely connected, considering there's a quest to come here to murder them all the time. I also made a little progress, as you might be able to notice, towards the Champions of Azeroth rep that I was trying to work on. Not a million miles away from finishing that now. That's only 4,000 rip-off. Kinda considering doing some extra dailies on Gnomeregan. Not Gnomeregan, Mechagon. May as well be Gnomeregan, let's be honest. But yeah. Kinda considering doing some extra dailies there, because really want to get a Mechanome. Just to do the Death Knight thing, I think would be really fun. Sort of tiny undead Robocop would be kinda cool. Oh yes, my beautiful subscription mount. It is a shame they didn't add this as a Mechagon mount, honestly. I know some people have like a real problem with the whole store mounts thing, and I can completely understand it from like a gameplay perspective. It does kind of undermine what is getting control of Halal. It does kind of undermine the player experience in a weird way. Like, kind of takes away the I put it, sort of the prestige and the effort that they put into getting some of these mounts. Like, the mounts I'm farming is old content, right? Like, technically it's super easy to do because you're super over-leveled, you walk through, you one-shot everything, you beat the Lich King to death in like 30 seconds, right? The people who are going and getting like the heroic mounts from current content, like the ahead of the curve mounts and stuff, they should be the coolest fucking mounts in the game. Not a mount you buy off the store or a mount that you get with a subscription. I get Blizzard need to encourage people from like a business standpoint to keep playing. I completely understand that. Like, you know, I've done part of my uni like degree was games business. Like, I understand it. I completely get why Blizzard do it. I feel like there's just a good middle ground that they could work towards that kind of encourages people to keep subscribing and keep spending money and keep allowing Blizzard to continue to develop products, while also making all the rewards seem super meaningful. I think some of these store mounts, the ones that are like for specific things, like the pig and squeakers and stuff, like, you know, for specific holidays and events. You know, like the 15-year anniversary, and some of these ones that are more like unique stuff that has like nothing to do with the game at all. This is another one. You know, that's fine, but like that and that, even that now, because that's a part of things in Night Fae, that could also be a Night Fae dragon, like all those things. Even these cats, really, like, and that. And that. And that, to a degree too, should all be things you can get in the game, and that one as well. But like these holiday ones, like specific ones for like specific yearly events, I don't see a problem with them, because they're like, you know, it's a celebration of a holiday and stuff. Sure, it allows people to like express things and it gives them extra stuff, like, I'm fine with that, it doesn't really impact anything, but I feel like stuff that does fit in the game shouldn't be like a store exclusive thing, it should be something you can earn in the game, just make it really difficult to earn, right? Because if you make, like, a badass mount like the Steam Scale Incinerator, but you have to beat Mechagon on, like, plus 15 Mythic or whatever with all the fucking things on. Make it, like, the super, super hard mode, like, reward for beating all of that. Like, several times over or something. Like, maybe you collect the parts of it from doing Mythic on the highest difficulty all the time. Imagine how many subscriptions you'd have got from that as well. Like, just the prolonged experience of keeping the players playing with, like, really interesting content and super cool looking rewards. And it's not like Blizzard aren't against doing that, because you look at things like the, what is it, got the name of it, it's over here. Sky Golem, right? That mount takes a month to make with, like, the Pandaren stuff. Like, it literally takes a month to make because you're going to make one part of it a day for, like, 30 days to build that. So in order to use this mount, you need to pay, like, 20 quid already. So why not do stuff like this with all of the store mounts, right? Because then you're going to be getting the same amount of money out of people anyway, because all these store mounts are 20 quid, they're £19, all of them. It's a £10 a month sub, why not just make this a thing that takes, like, 2 months to make, while, you know, by doing 6 runs of Mythic plus 15 Mechagon or whatever. You'd have got the same money out of people. It would have kept people playing to the same degree as what it would have, like, what it did already, right? I mean, I bought the 6-month sub because I wanted to keep playing the game, because I want to do this, because WoW is helping me, like, you know, I've said before, structurally, mentally, and all the rest of it. And it's allowing me to do this right now, and enjoy myself, and vent and have this whole conversation with myself. I feel like there are ways that Blizzard could do things from a business standpoint that would benefit them, I think, far more. Because not only would they get the money, the same money they're getting right now, but they would also gain more of, like, an audience, like a positive audience. The words are eluding me, but, like, the audience would like them more, right? And all they have to do is just do things in a slightly different way to what they're already doing them. It's not like a massive change to things either. I really need to auction house that. Yeah, I feel like I've kind of hopped on about a lot of controversial stuff this stream. Well, not necessarily controversial stuff, but just, you know, not necessarily super positive things. And yeah, I need 4 more eggs. Look, I just need to take a break from talking. No, there is still a lot of good stuff in WoW. I mean, there's good stuff in BFA as much as people shit on it. I think there's been good stuff in every expansion, even the bad ones. Well, the ones that are, you know, generally perceived as bad. Right? Like, Cataclysm is generally considered to be a bad expansion, but actually looking at the amount of effort, the amount of content, and the stuff that Blizzard created for Cataclysm, I don't think they've done that. They haven't created that level of content, I don't think, for any expansion since. Like, they basically revamped half the old world and created a whole bunch of new expansion, a whole bunch of new islands and locations, a whole load of new quest chains, new characters. Like, as much as people necessarily didn't like it, there was a hell of a lot of content in Cataclysm. Like a gigantic amount. And I feel like that does deserve more respect than it was given at the time. From what I remember, a lot of the issue came from this like replacing of the old content, and I do agree that that could have been done better too. I know the technology wasn't there at the time, but the systems we have in place now, where you can basically go back to the old locations, that is something that Blizzard could implement now. And I feel like that would also get them a lot of good like publicity and positive response from their audience if they basically, because they recreated all the old zones in Classic, right? They had to recreate most of that from the ground up. So could they not basically add that what is she, Zidoromi or something? The like dragon that can take you back in time in all the locations, kind of like Chromie does. Could they not just have her in all of the old zones the Cataclysm affected and just allow you to go back to the old version? Now? I feel like that would give Blizzard some good PR. Imagine that would be to some degree still slightly complicated to do, but they have all the old like they have all the old quest lines, they have all the old locations, they have all the old NPCs now. So just slotting those back into those locations and just having like an NPC that teleports you back in time wouldn't be too far-fetched. I guess the issue would be some of the zones have like changed size, which might be a bit awkward. Things like Ajara, obviously in current WoW, is a giant Horde logo, but in Classic it's like a weird crab claw blob thing, just above Orgrimmar. Which when I realised Ajara is a giant Horde logo in current WoW, that was kind of cool, to be honest. Because I didn't notice at all. I assume it's probably been that way since like Cataclysm, because it's the like the goblin capital, basically, isn't it? Thing he has is like Pleasure Palace there or whatever. Gallywix. So I imagine for some of those zones it might be slightly difficult to do. But even if they just added in the old quest chains, that could be an interesting way of doing it. And having multiple versions of like Deadmines at the same time. That could be cool. Having like classic Deadmines and new Deadmines. Because as you level up, we've got the same thing right now with like one of the classic dungeons gets replaced with a WoD dungeon in Blackrock, I think it is. So you could literally do that right now because we have the recreated classic version of Deadmines, right? All they'd have to do is slot that in to the classic version and then have the what is it, the Cataclysm or Pandaria remaster that got put in. Just have that unlock when you hit Cataclysm or Pandaria, right? That's like level 90, I think. Because you go to Burning Crusade or Lich King at 60. Well, I suppose in Shadowlands, because you can play through whichever one you choose, you could literally have different Deadmines based on which expansion you choose to play through, right? I just got spun around and I have no idea which way I was going. But say you choose to play through just classic WoW from 10 to 50, you get all the classic versions of the dungeons with all the classic quest lines. But if you play through the Cataclysm version, you get all the updated versions. Would also be a really cool way of doing it. I imagine that would be a lot of work to slot those things in that way. Oh, that boy. I'm sorry. Yep, there's no point you coming back this way, bud. Yeah, I guess something slightly controversial on the whole WoW front. I do kind of prefer leveling in current WoW to Classic. I don't think Classic is a bad game by any means. Like, I genuinely prefer the talent tree system in Classic. I think having an actual RPG talent tree is a really cool thing to have in a game. It adds a lot more depth and character choice than just picking a different talent every 15 levels or whatever. And also having, like, a point every level, I think is more rewarding and satisfying. But I do find the leveling in Classic to be a real drag at times, and the reward you actually get from that at the end, like, it's so minute because obviously it's the really old version of the game, and basically your reward for hitting 60 is you get to go do raids now and grind for gear every week. That's your reward for hitting max level. Whereas in like current WoW, your reward for hitting max level is basically another storyline to play through because it's obviously the new expansion, whatever you just hit. And then also the fact that you have all this old content that you can go through, that you can farm, that you can get mounts from. Because you've hit max level, you're powerful enough now to basically go back through and replay all this old stuff and nothing as a challenge to you. Or you can make it a challenge by like scaling your difficulty down and stuff. There's a lot of improvements that have been made over the years that makes current WoW a good game to play through and like a really chill game to play through. And most of the time, like I say, I do kind of just enjoy it to Classic. But I do also understand where the people are coming from, that Classic has far more of a community aspect, and also it feels like more depth to your character customization. Because in Classic you can also do weird things like, oh yeah, I'm a warrior, but I also use guns. Like, that's just a thing you can do. Whereas in current WoW, if you're a warrior, it's like, yep, 200 weapons. Good luck. That's your thing. Or you change your spec and suddenly you can't use your swords anymore because they're the wrong type of sword for that spec, so you need to go get a shield and an axe or something. Whereas in like Classic WoW, you can go and learn how to use whatever weapons and stuff you want, pretty much. I think every class has some sort of ranged option, which is, I think, really interesting. To be honest, I kind of liked the way that hunters used to work as well, that you could have a melee and a ranged weapon, or you could go one or the other, right? You could be like a survival hunter in Classic WoW, you just chose to use melee weapons rather than any sort of gun. I doubt it's exactly an optimal way to play, but it is an option, right? I think that's kind of a cool thing. But I also wouldn't like take away a lot of the stuff that's in current WoW either. I guess a lot of people out there that really dislike the raid finder and the dungeon finder and stuff, and I completely understand why. Like the whole loss of community aspect, you know, like recruiting stuff and finding people to do dungeons with and stuff. That's how you like made friends and found parties and got into guilds and stuff in Classic. Even in the reboot, like I played during I played from launch night for like the first couple months of Classic, and it was the same in that. You know, you got into guilds by helping people out while they were leveling, and you made friends with them and stuff. I still have a bunch of friends on my Battle.net and stuff now from just playing Classic during the opening months because we'd help each other out during quests and we'd bump into each other again because it took so long to level. And it is kind of a cool experience in that way. But I also like having a dungeon finder and a raid finder and stuff there because it means you aren't like tied down by your guild, or you're not tied down by the fact that there isn't enough people online on your server, or there isn't enough people around in your Westfall to do dead mines because you like fell behind or made a new character. You can always find people to do stuff and always find people to keep progressing your character. I feel like there's got to be a way to find some sort of middle ground between those two things, right? I suppose that's what the custom group finder is there for. Because it is exactly that. You can basically search, oh yeah, need a party for Deadmines or whatever. But the chance of people actually using that now, because there is just a dungeon finder in the game, is pretty slim, right? Because they're just going to queue up for the dungeon, wait the 5 minutes it's going to take to run it, and then have run it, done their quests, and they're going to leave. I feel like it might just be worth creating some sort of dungeon finder that doesn't necessarily require people to talk, but sort of encourages people to talk more. I don't know how you do that. But I feel like that is something that's genuinely missing from like playing Classic and then playing Current WoW with the Dungeon Finder. Like, people just don't talk to each other. Like, you'll be in a dungeon and just one person will say hey and then everyone else just doesn't say anything. I mean, I'm guilty of it at times too. Like, if I'm in a, like, I just want to do my best DPS possible sort of mood, I just won't say anything because I'm just spamming fucking buttons constantly. So I am guilty of this too, but it is kind of... After playing Classic and seeing that, like, community aspect, and then coming back to Current WoW, and you do dungeons and just no one says anything. I think one of the best dungeon experiences I had recently in Current WoW while I was leveling, my warrior specifically, was I did, like, 4 dungeons in a row with the same party. And we were all just chatting and, like, winding each other up and having a laugh and stuff, and it was great. It was one of the best experiences I've had with dungeons in, like, Current WoW in ages. Because most of the time, unless you play a healer, I think that's when most of the people have spoken to me, is when I'm playing a healer, and it's just saying thank you because they've ran into the fire and killed themselves for the 6th time in the dungeon, about to res them again. And they say thank you and talk to you, but otherwise, people just don't seem to want to talk all that much in Current WoW. I think everyone's so fixated on just leveling as quickly and efficiently as possible. Like I said, guilty of it myself too, just like not saying anything because you want to just hit the buttons as best you can and you don't want to like lose DPS by not doing that. I don't know. I feel like there's got to be some ways of encouraging more like community stuff in Current WoW, because it's really, I think, is one of the only things Current WoW is really missing, for me at least. Like, I know a lot of people really don't like the transmog thing, but I really like the transmog thing. I kind of like the LF, like the looking for group thing. I find leveling really satisfying. I kind of enjoy some of the old daily grinds and stuff. I don't enjoy the time-gated content from like BFA when the quest line was time-gated. So you're gonna do 1 quest a day, that was really irritating. But, you know, I did like the story as a whole. Because the story is like a big part of why I play WoW rather than any other MMO. It's the reason, I think one of the reasons I keep coming back to it. Because I want to see what's next, I want to see where these characters end up. Even if maybe certain characters have gone down a path that doesn't really make a whole lot of sense yet, because Blizzard just kind of decided they're going to go bad guy again. But, you know, I still like the story overall. There's a lot of good in Current WoW. I feel like I kind of need to say that because I've just been kind of, for like the past almost entire hour, just kind of shit-talking some decisions that Blizzard have made. And there is a lot of good stuff. I think it's just a matter of, because I like the game so much, when you see a problem or you see something that you dislike in it and you want them to make a positive change, it's the thing that's on the forefront of your mind, right? It doesn't mean I don't like the game. Because I do, I wouldn't play it to the degree I do. I wouldn't have a 6-month sub if I didn't like the game. I wouldn't have paid another month after my first sub if I didn't like the game, right? So clearly I like it, I just want it to be the best game it can be. I think that's a lot of problem with sort of criticism. Just in general, like people struggle to take criticism, I think, a lot these days. And they can't allow things to be the best they are because it means that they're wrong or something is bad currently. And that's the highlighted thing, not the fact that people are complaining about this thing because they want it to be better. Not because they hate it, not because they dislike the product, but because they want the product to be... They want it to be polished, they want it to be the game that they... You know, that they love, that they pay for, that they have enjoyed. And that goes for anything, like movies, TV shows, whatever. And there is the flip side of that. There are people who won't just criticize a product, they will continuously slam it and hate on it. And you know, I feel like everyone out there has seen enough of that these days, and that might be why the whole, like, people being almost afraid of criticism has sort of come from, is that hatred and vitriol that's been spewed about things over and over again. I feel like it might just be a matter of, from a personal standpoint, criticizing myself here. But maybe my word choice when I'm discussing things that I'm criticizing should be worked on to be more professional, right? Because at the end of the day, I do probably use more profanities than I probably should. Just on a day-to-day basis. But that's probably hindered by the fact of where I grew up and the sort of community I grew up in, because I wouldn't say it's the most cleanly spoken area in the world or in England, that's for sure. It's definitely not a posh neighbourhood, that's for sure. So I think that kind of just became almost a part of my personality in the way I speak about things. Especially when I get, like, passionate about something. But it is something I should probably look at improving if I'm going to continue to criticize things, is criticizing them in a professional way as opposed to just almost talking down on the product or whatever it may be. Because it does come across as, I feel, probably hatred rather than criticism. But it's something that hopefully by doing exactly what I'm doing right now, you know, playing this game and just talking to myself in a room and exploring the ideas that are within my own mind will help me to better put those into words and hopefully get past the whole umming and ahhing thing that I was doing earlier that I still do occasionally. I know everyone has some way of, like, putting, I guess, punctuation into the way they speak. You know, if you look at, like, Barack Obama and the way he speaks, he has, like, a very clear way of, like, punctuating the way he talks. Like, the gaps he takes between stuff. I used to be very good at replicating it, but I haven't, like, listened to him talk about stuff in a long time, so I'm not even gonna try. Yeah, he has a very, like, clear way of speaking and a very unique way of speaking that I think everyone notices that. Or everyone did notice that. But hopefully by, you know, continuing to just speak openly in this situation, listen to some nice, peaceful music and just kind of venting about things will help me improve that as I go. I'm hoping I can just speak openly about a lot of subjects on here. I'm not really aiming to grow any sort of audience, so me just speaking my mind and opinion about things is kind of fine. Because I know, especially when it comes to a lot of stuff in the world these days, everything is, like, politicized one way or the other. And people feel very strongly about their political opinions. But generally talking about politics is something that YouTubers and content creators and streamers and stuff in general will avoid for the most part, because talking about it can lose them viewers and lose them their livelihood, essentially, because if they piss off too many people, people are just gonna leave. And if the people leave, then they stop getting views and then they stop getting money. So it's something that a lot of people have to be very careful talking about because it can upset a wide portion of their audience. I mean, it's why businesses and companies make similar decisions when it comes to other things, you know? Like, more recently, people pulling down episodes from TV shows from like 30 years ago or whatever that are considered racist. Which is understandable, right? They're offensive to a portion of our community and it's something that should be respected. But equally, those pieces of media were created a very long time ago. And yeah, they're a product of their time, but that shouldn't be an excuse either. I feel like there is a degree of that that's kind of true either way. Like, it shouldn't be there because it is racist and like it like propagates an idea that is generally frowned upon in our society for good reason, because no one should be hated upon for a decision that they can't choose, right? No one should get hate for the way they're born. They don't get to decide it. I mean, if you're an asshole, then you deserve to get hate, right? Because that's your decision to be an asshole. But if you're just born one way or another, it's not fair to look down upon them or hate upon them because of it. So I can understand why that media is removed. I also feel like some things of the past should be preserved in one way or another. Maybe in some other way though, like an archival thing as opposed to like a service that people pay for or whatever, right? Kind of like a museum, right? Like we have museums for things like a lot of bad stuff, but they're very poignant pieces of history and should be remembered and looked at and studied in order to avoid those circumstances happening again. So I feel like information like that should be saved and recorded somewhere. And I feel like to a degree censorship is a bad thing, but I feel like people need to be more respected. I feel like media like that probably should be removed. Again, archived somewhere. And that's something for companies and media owners and stuff to figure out, really. And have a conversation with the community to figure out the way that they feel that that information and stuff should be preserved best. Anyway, that was an even heavier subject than I was talking about before, which was just, wow. We're gonna bounce around to a whole bunch of different topics over the course of these streams, I am almost guaranteeing it. Where are we at with all this stuff? Because I've just been talking and kind of just absent-mindedly doing everything. So we need 2 eggs to finish. Apparently my recording has been saved. Thank you. I didn't know I was still recording, I'll be honest, because it didn't tell me. I have literally zero idea what any of this video footage for YouTube is going to look like. I have no idea if it's going to be higher quality. I have no idea if there's just going to be massive, like, 2-minute gaps in the middle of it. I feel like I need to find a better. Christ, what the fuck is going on? Where is Maev? Where are they? I've got one earphone on, I can't tell. There's a whole bunch of random stuff that just happens over here, and I've completely lost the train of thought I was on before I started flying over here as well. I'm just gonna fly over to the like camp over here for a minute. See if I can find anything. Because there's no eggs around the island, I don't think, right now. And there's a whole bunch of people farming the mines, so it's kind of hectic to try and find anything down there, or any enemies that are alive to kill. Yeah, I also need to figure out where I go next, again. Because a lot of shit to do in this game. Yeah, I need to have a look at kind of the list of stuff and figure out what daily quest chain to work through next. I mean, because I kind of always want to have some sort of goal in this game. There's nothing over here. It's good. Then no, like, other... Got any eggs in there, boys? Oh. I'm gonna have to fly back to the island. Yeah, I need to look at the list to figure out where I want to go next with my whole... like, daily quest thing. Because there's all the stuff in Lich King I haven't done. There's the like polar bear quest chain that gets you a polar bear mount. There's the green proto drake daily quest chain that, you know, gets you a green proto drake. There's the Skyguard stuff that I really don't want to do, just because there's always too many people there farming it. It's just such a pain in the ass to do. Unless you've got like a, you know, a guild or an active community you can join, or you get lucky and find something on the group finder to do it. Like, it's just kind of a pain in the ass, to be honest. But it is something I would like to do eventually, because I really like the... They're called mana rays? I think they're really cool. I had one as a pet. I think I actually had two at one point as different hunter pets. Because I do think they're a really cool little design, like kind of mutated manta rays, I think are cool. I think manta rays are just a cool creature in general, like they're quite a unique looking little animal, you know? Or they're fish. I guess technically they're still an animal, but, you know. Not really sure where they fall under classification wise. It might be fish. I guess that would make sense, they do live underwater. And again, so do whales. Who knows? I'm definitely not a nature specialist of any kind, in case you couldn't tell. Also, in a second, I just want to bring up... there we go. I just wanted to bring up my chat again, because I had it open the whole time, but I'm not entirely trusting of it, because it's opened in a weird-ass window. I just didn't want to watch the Twitch thing constantly bouncing up and down today, because it was doing that all of last stream. Which was just really, like, eye-catching and irritating. Because, as goes by my dissertation research, things that move really catch your eye, which is why I've decided... I was originally thinking about making the chat cover slightly animated. But going back to that research and that information, having something that was moving in the corner of the screen would have been a really bad idea. Because there are like 4 or 5 things that like, naturally catch the human eye and will always draw the attention more than anything else. I mean, the top two, from what I remember, are like real basic, just animal instinct of sex and food will always draw the eye. And then there's things like movement and bright colours, and I think there's one other thing I can't remember off the top of my head. But they're like the primary draws for vision in everything. Which is why, you know, the old thumbnails that used to have like, you know, the clickbait ones that were just like a pair of boobs or whatever, constantly. Why they worked. Because sex sells stuff, unfortunately. Well, I guess unfortunately isn't really a word for it, to be honest, because who really cares? It is what it is. It's just a thing of that's how they worked, because humans just naturally drawn to them. Funnily enough. Yeah, if you wanted to design a website or a UI or a thumbnail or whatever, just, you know, slap a nice juicy hamburger in there and some tits and you'll sell it like hotcakes. You'll probably also get a whole bunch of people telling, like, being real angry at you for sexualizing people in your advertising. Because you are also doing that. They're not wrong. But it does work. Kind of a weird thing about humans, we're very contradictory creatures. I feel like there's something kind of factors into everything and it's kind of why we have a society. That's a whole philosophical debate that has nothing to do with what I was on about. Damn it, we are getting like really fucked over with these eggs, man. Still need two. I always keep going wanting to mine that ore as well. I don't need any of this ore or crystal now that's just filling up my bags. Because in the hand-in of 2 eggs, we will be done completely and never have to come here again on any character. Which will honestly be a blessing, because I've almost completely finished the Burning Crusade. The only thing I have left to do here is the Skyguard and Magister's Terrace for mounts, and then I'm done. And technically Magister's Terrace is in Eastern Kingdoms, it's just a really awkward place to get to, apart from by going here. Otherwise it's like a 30-minute flight path or whatever. Through the Blood Elf starting zone and everything else. Just before I generally use that flight path to go and do other stuff. So never really bothers me, but if I'm streaming stuff, I weirdly kind of don't just want to walk away and go and do other stuff. At least not until I have, you know, like a webcam and stuff set up. And I do have a webcam, I just don't feel quite confident enough to, like, just have my face in the picture the whole time, you know? Funnily enough, it'll probably go in the place of, like, the chat cover. I might sort of continue to have my new, like, Moose logo thing there, and have me in, like, the place of Rexar over there on the left. But that's something from future. But it is also something that WoW is helping me get to. Because, like I've said before, this whole, like, helping me build a structure and a routine and stuff again, helping me get into a diet and exercise routine and stuff is working really well, and I'm actually genuinely feeling, like, genuinely starting to feel good about myself again for the first time in a long ass time. Like, maybe years? Which is kind of a depressing thought, but it's true. And this game has been a godsend for doing that, honestly. Because I don't know how I'd have achieved it without. I mean, doing this grind in this way is kind of going in the reverse of this, because it's kind of not part of the general structure, but I wanted to get it done for, like, streaming quality's sake, because I didn't just want to have, like, 3 streams of me running through this same mineshaft. And also so I can get to other content. Yeah, I really need this thing to just hurry up and drop. I need 2 eggs, god damn it, I was getting 4 every run yesterday. I used all my luck off stream. I've gotten pretty lucky with some of them, to be fair. Ugh. Used to be 1 in this room would always drop 1 yesterday. But apparently not this time. Right, I am just gonna need to take another bathroom break. I'll be back in 2 seconds. Yeah, let's go. Let's get these last 2 eggs, man. Oh, I'm guessing by this place being still empty, someone else has just been through while I've been gone, right? That or there's no one here anymore, so the respawn timers have slowed down? Both could be bad, because that means less things for me to kill and less chances to get eggs. There is, I believe, a way to get 2 guaranteed eggs. If we get no drops from this run through and back up again, I think I might have a look, see what that is. I think it's a boss in Karazhan that drops like 2 guaranteed. We could go run like some old dungeon content, a little bit of a spicing up of the stream rather than this same brown cave I've been running through for like 2 hours. We'll go run through a slightly brown castle instead. No, Karazhan has a lot more colour. It's a lot more unique an environment. I think it is Karazhan, I can't remember which boss it is. Pretty sure one of those drops netherwing eggs. And if that's the case, it might be worth going over there and doing that, if it's a guaranteed 2 drop. Given the fact that's exactly how many we need. Yeah, it's not looking good on this egg drop front, is it? I can never tell how far away I can actually loot mobs from, because sometimes I loot a mob from like the other side of the room, and then this is like, oh yeah, other side of train tracks? No, bud. Gotta go over and loot that one separate. But it's almost as far away as the other thing, but I don't get it. I feel like that was even closer than the one down in the mine, but apparently it's close enough for me to auto-loot all of them. I don't know. Might just be the weird, like, shaping of the mine making things look further away than they actually are. Oh my god, really? You locked onto that one? Fine. My bags are getting real full again. But yeah, this is what I spent like an hour or two doing last night. Just grinding up eggs doing this. But the drop chance was way better, apparently. Not entirely sure why. Delete that for me. I do really like having fetch on the pets, it's super useful. I do feel slightly bad about just sending them into lava all the time, but you know. Resurrecting the pets is free, repairing my armor costs like 250 gold or whatever. One of those takes me far less time to get. I mean, 250 gold isn't hard to get if you're doing like leveling content, seemingly. Like leveling up on my a demon hunter and my warrior, I've got like a crap load of gold on both of them just by doing quests. Whereas like actually going and doing gold farming on this gnome seems to take way longer. I don't know why, I think I'm just really unlucky with like drops from stuff. A lot of the time. Like there's a gold route I've done a couple times where you basically run like old LFR stuff and it's supposed to net like 8,000 gold at minimum. Sometimes it's given me like 4,000. Most. Because this has a tracker thing up here where it's like earned this session, earned per hour. So you can check how much gold you've earned from doing like an LFR run or whatever. And sometimes it is way lower than what is supposed to be on the average. And I think it's just because I get really unlucky with like item drops and stuff, because a lot of running that old LFR content is you getting gear, like weapons and stuff especially, they sell for loads. And certain pieces of armor, I think plate might sell for more than cloth and stuff like that. Whereas I just get really unlucky and get a whole bunch of crap items that sell for like basically nothing. I'm not really trying to like gold farm up to, you know, like a Brutus or whatever. I don't care that much about gold farming to farm like 5 million or whatever in a couple months. Like, I'm not doing that. But, you know, getting an extra like 20,000 every couple days would be real nice, but yep, that's not happening. It might be a little more efficient now I've got like multiple alliance characters at the same level. The issue is my demon hunter is on Horde, so I could play through the Horde storyline really easy without having to level up a full character all the way. Like I made her back before the Zoth content came out, like Eternal Palace, I think. It was before the double XP, before they got rid of the like time gating on the story stuff. And then I just got so like what the word is, sort of dismayed and sort of disheartened with the whole like it taking weeks to play through the story content from the Alliance side, because every other quest was a day. And then sometimes you'd have to wait for mission table missions to complete before you could do your next quest. And then you have to wait a day after all that. Like, you'd wait 8 hours to go like, oh, I'll do my next quest. Like, nope. Another 24 hours for you, mate. It's like, time getting the stuff is kind of awful. Since they've got rid of that, I've actually really enjoyed the story. Like, playing through the Horde side stuff is really fun. Like, there's a fucking mech battle against Mechatalk at one point. That's really cool and came out of nowhere. There's a part where you're like breaking it. I think it's the very start. You break out Stormwind, like you're sneaking Talanji and the other one out. Whatever the bad guy Troll's called, I don't care. Pretty sure he dies, like, at the end of the Troll campaign or whatever. Yeah, I'm just gonna look at the Karazhan thing while I, talk through the rest of this. Yeah, I really enjoyed the, oh, that's Nether Spire. Might be the boss. I apologise, you guys can't see any of this. I'm literally just searching things on Google. It's not a massive chance. From all creatures and item notes on the Netherwing Ledge and Netherwing Mines, blah 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 blah. Okay, go Wowhead, that's much easier. Things can just respawn around me while I search this as well. They have a 62% drop chance of dropping for a boss called Nether Spite in Karazhan. Right, okay. There's a chance for dropping between 1 and 3. Debatable. Right, I'll have one more run through and then we'll go over to Karazhan. Just because I don't know how much I really want to run through the whole of Karazhan, because it's a gigantic fucking maze. I love Karazhan because it's so unique and has so many different layers to it and so many different cool and interesting bosses, but it's also just a gigantic maze to try and navigate if you want to fight one specific boss. If you go in there to fight Midnight, it's hardly a challenge because he's literally next to the front door. But if you're going in there to fight, you know, Nether Spite or whatever, I have no idea where he is. I think he's on the chestboard level. Might even be the boss for the chessboard thing, I can't remember. But that is like, you know... That's a little further in than the front door. Probably a lot more stuff I have to play through in Karazhan in order to even check for this boss and see if I can get Netherwing eggs from it. The worst part is, I remember running Karazhan ages ago and getting Netherwing eggs from it. Because I played through all the TBC dungeons and all the classic dungeons. For the achievements and stuff. So I know I got Netherwing eggs from it, like, twice, because I think I ran the dungeon 2 times. And I think I sold them, or deleted them. So I could have already finished this quest. If I'd have just known what the fuck I was doing, like, months ago. We only need one more egg now, so, Oh, okay, I'm done. That's it, boys. Finished. I am actually losing my voice because I've been speaking, like, continuously for, like, 4 hours the past 2 days. So, Shadowlands stream tomorrow night might be a little quiet. If I get into Shadowlands, that is. Otherwise, it's just running old raid content. I might just stick some fucking, like, royalty-free metal music on and just run through raids. I don't know if people enjoy that or not. But, you know, just something high energy and just, you know, rock out for like 5 minutes, well, 2 hours. Just run old content. And just hear me screaming if I get a fucking mount at the end of it. I apologise if that bottle bang was real loud. I didn't realise I was still gripping the bottle so hard. I'm just really excited the fact I've just finished the Netherwing rep grind after... Well, I started this last year. And it has taken me basically 2 hours today to get the last, like, 6 eggs or whatever it is we needed. God damn. Come on. Where's my thing? Bow to the High Lord. Speak to... This is my promotion to, like, max rank or whatever. Cool. Meet Illidan Stormrage, seek out Barthas and lower city of Shattrath. You should survive. Oh, should you survive? Is this the quest chain to get my, quest line to get my dragons?
Hey, how you doing?
Let's get out of here. Let's go. Sure. Who knows? This is a real slow dragon though, bud. Oh. Oh, getting on this dragon failed the quest. Cool. Can I get off this dragon? I didn't realize this was the wrong way to go. No. Let me off. Just let me jump. Honestly, just drop me. It will be fine. I can feather fall. Just drop me, dragon, please. Before you fly over the edge into the abyss. Ah, Jesus. Well, I'm gonna sit here in silence and drink my bowl of water. Yeah, I think I need to just, like, not talk for hours. But damn it, I did it. How much got this one left to do? Yeah, if you're wondering what add-ons I use, here's most of them, if you can see that. Hopefully you can. Hopefully the quality isn't that low. Not actually sure what are the reps to put on the list now. Damn. I really don't know. Not really got to focus on any of these right now. I guess, I think I might already have the Sky Guard. Yeah, I do. They're like the lowest thing on my list now. Not even got to Honoured with them yet. I do need to level up the other Argent Crusade faction. Is the Argent Dawn or something? I think there's an achievement tied to those. I think it might give you the title Argent Champion or something like that. But I literally haven't even discovered the faction. I think it's in the Plaguelands. I could be wrong. But I think it's in the Plaguelands because I never did it. I just like flew over it at one point and I came and helped my friend through it. Like, yeah, I've still got the starting quest. I've literally never done it. But yeah, I think you meet up with the Argent Dawn somewhere in here. Or maybe the previous zone? Not Hinterlands. No. I think brain. You might meet up with them in Western Plaguelands. I think around Anderhall, because wasn't this like the invasion of whatever? Like the what's the word for it? I've actually finished there, so obviously not. Apparently it's in here. The Scourge invasion and stuff like starts here, and then obviously that's the whole place filled with them, and then obviously that leads into Northrend and all this stuff. Which I also haven't done any of this on this character, because I went here instead. Finished Hellfire Peninsula. Finished Sangarmarsh. Did a bit in the Grand. Not really. I think I finished Blade's Edge too. I also finished Netherstorm, apparently. Only ones I haven't finished the ones down here, I would guess. Yep. I'm actually not far off Lore Master of Outland. Maybe I'll do that at some point on stream as well. Just fly around and finish off all the old quest chains. Because I've been working towards a good chunk of the achievements. Like, I've almost finished all the character ones. I'm not a million miles off that if I just do some gold farming. Like, I've got my warrior that's almost at this level, and then I've got a druid that's like at 60 still, but I'm not sure if the double XP's gone or not yet. But that probably won't take the druid long, especially because I heal on my druid, so I'll get into dungeons faster. So even if it's gone, I'm still going to get through just as quickly, I'd imagine. Yeah, I've explored everywhere. I just haven't finished the quest chains for everywhere. Yeah, Western Plaguelands was the last one I did. Is these American dates or English dates? I can never remember. But yeah, I've done like half of those. Well, probably less actually. Yeah. Like 2 under half. Where is this dragon flying me to? Why is it flying me at like half a mile an hour? What is this? Just fucking land. Holy shit. It's flown past. Where is it taking me? Ugh, I can't Hearthstone off the dragon either. God damn it. Is there a way to just jump off of a flying mount? Is that a thing? Can I just exit? I don't think there is there? I have a feeling that would have been removed very early on if there is, because I feel like there's a lot of ways you could exploit things by doing that. Yeah, apparently I have started this somehow, I guess. Yeah, I might make that stream at some point, just playing through the happening with this dragon. Playing through these and get these done. I like how there's a Hammett Nessingway quest in I think every expansion. Got to be one here, right? There's a quest for Deather. Oh, there we go. Hammett Nessingway. Surely there's one for Cataclysm as well, right? Gotta be. I just like scroll past them. I'm really not reading them, so it's entirely possible. Definitely one for Pandaria though, right? Because it's at least new zones. Oh. Oh. Jesus, yeah, my throat is... It's really feeling it now. Oh, it was such a mistake to get on this dragon. Such a goddamn mistake. It's gonna fly me all the way back to Shatra, isn't it? Or like to somewhere dumb. Just let me off. Is there any way of just jumping off a flight path? I'm pretty sure logging off and logging back in doesn't work anymore, it just keeps you on the thing. Oh, this is talking about WoW Classic. That's a really unhelpful thread. No, there's literally no way to get off this dragon until I reach its destination, which could be literally anywhere, and then I have to fly all the way back again. What have I done? I have doomed myself to this eternal torment on the back of this ugly-ass dragon. Damn it. Are we done? Have we landed? Please? Please. I think it's going all the way back to Shatra, isn't it? It's going all the way back to Shatra, and it will drop me off here, and there will be a vendor in Shatra for the other drakes. But I don't know if they will show up because I haven't finished the Drake quest line, technically. I was about to call him Drake Dealer Derek for a second, but it's Herlock. I don't know where I got Derek from, I'll be honest. No, he is all the way back there where I just was. Yeah, apparently there's apparently some whole like quest chain thing where my disguise gets discovered and this is how I'm supposed to flee from the island. Apparently I just skipped the gun a little bit because I still haven't finished the Lord Illidan part. Oh, Jesus. See, this is the type of stuff that if I was doing this for YouTube, I'd have just cut all this out. I'm just gonna like real quick fly back. If I could somehow speed up my mount to fly back faster, then I would, but I can't, so we're just gonna have to deal with that whole thing. Okay. And yeah, we'll see if my throat is up to streaming tomorrow, or it might just be, like I said, some high energy music and running through all the old raids because it's reset day tomorrow. We shall see. But I don't think the next beta wave's gone out yet because I've not been given access. If we do get access to Shadowlands, then we'll be making that like a Wednesday thing. I might just push the like running all the raids to like a Thursday or a Friday thing. Because you got a whole week to run the raids, so it's hardly like a it's hardly a time sensitive thing, whereas like I feel like playing Shadowlands, given the fact it's in beta and might be out of beta in a couple of months, is a little more time sensitive. And also I feel like more people would probably be interested in seeing that, and also I kind of want to test stuff myself too. I actually really want to test stuff myself. Um... Previously shapeshifted with things such as Obsidian Wing Mount. I know. In fact, will be unable to get the Dragonmaw illusion buff and turn in through you. In fact, after you swap to a normal riding mount or any of the shapeshifting, shapeshifters prevent the buff, everything will phase and everyone will be happy. So I guess this is where these are supposed to be later. And this is kind of where you can see the different colours and stuff, right? You can also talk to all these drakes like they're people, which is interesting. I mean, all the dragons are people, right? So I guess that makes sense. It's not really something they touch on all that much, because technically all these drakes and dragons I have to ride around on as mounts have personalities. Like, they are essentially people, and I just use them as transport. Kinda weird. Oh, there might be an unknown white dragonfly. Interesting. That'd have been kind of a cool thing to explore at some point. Yeah, I'm just gonna have to sit around and do the RP on the island, I guess, and then get discovered and get my Drake, and then probably do that whole flight again. You know what? I'm just gonna get the Drake on stream, and if I have to do the whole flight again to get the other Drakes, I will not stream that, because I feel like me just doing the same thing I just did for 20 minutes is probably really fucking boring. And I don't want to put myself through that again, so I don't want to put other people through it either. So we're just gonna do this with the utmost efficiency now and just try and get this done, because I also need to like stop streaming because my voice is really going. So I also don't want to keep doing this for too much longer. Also, I just noticed I hit 1 billion damage over here recorded, with 778 million of it coming from auto shot. Nice. Cool, slightly adjust that flight path. Should be good. I'm hoping there's no sort of, actually I'll just stick to the cliffside. I was just gonna fly straight there, but I don't know if there's any sort of fatigue system for flying over the, like, abyss or whatever. Don't exactly want to push it all that much. Like, flying along this edge is probably a safe bet. Just reading Wowhead posts while I fly back over here. I'm sorry, it's probably not super entertaining, but like I say, my voice is kind of going, and I don't want to push it too far and lose it completely. I do apologize. No, this is the boy. But I need the High Overlord rank or whatever first. And then I think I just go and stand out here for a bit, and then they do the whole RP thing. Yeah. Cool. I just didn't wait for this last time. Those are some badass looking shoulders he has, holy shit. Kinda want those. Why is he gonna unveil me as a gnome? Oh. Oh no. Whole operation has been compromised. Incapacitated by Illidan. Nice. Nope. Ah. You will not harm the boy. I'm on my back. Oh. For fuck's sake. Really? You know what, guys? I'm just gonna leave you with this. I need to go get a drink because my throat is fucking killing me. Just have a chill, get a cup of coffee or whatever. I'll be back. How far did we get, boys? So oh, Jesus Christ. I thought we were like halfway through Shadow Moon. Barely left the... Ah. So mad. I don't know what to do, man. This is gonna take forever. A second time. Is the hand-in actually in Chatra, right? It's where I landed, right? Cool. So that'll give me the first Drake. And I'll leave the stream there and I'll show off all the Drakes tomorrow, maybe? Because my voice is genuinely going. My throat really hurts. Because I haven't spoken this much in probably a couple months. And I basically just haven't stopped speaking this stream, and I feel like I've been speaking a lot better than I did yesterday, but it has just been like constant talking. And my throat very clearly isn't used to it. And my voice is full on going now. Apologies for that. Oh. According to this, I have 161 mounts. According to this, I have 160, and according to my mount collection thing in here, I have 199. Cool. It's glad to see even the add-ons can't make their mind up. Yeah, hopefully at least the setup is a massive improvement over yesterday's one, and there's less, like, background noise, my voice is clearer, and hopefully a better audio balance, because I've tried to preserve the volume of the music to audio that I did from last stream. Hopefully it should be good. I feel like this is exactly why you have the Peggle add-on for Classic. It's this exact thing. Oh, jeez, I did not mean to drag that. Hopefully that's roughly the same position. I should probably lock these where they are. Cool. I do apologize. I'm just gonna leave you guys with the music and the like no UI until we get to Shatra. Just because like my throat is fucked right now. Well, before we get there, I'd just like to say thank you for everyone who's watched through all of this and put up with the, A, my voice dying, and B, me fucking this up so badly. Yeah, I'd just like to say thank you. I hope you guys have enjoyed the parts of the stream where I could talk, and hopefully my voice recovers for tomorrow. If not, like I said, maybe some just very quiet Shadowlands, or some very energetic raids, which would be really fun. Either way. And just a nice sort of, chill out. I might, go give myself a free pass and get some ice cream after this, just try and soothe my throat slightly, because Jesus Christ. I have a feeling this is me picking which dragon I like, right? I'm kind of going between Jorus over here and whatever the fuck. This one. I mean, I'm gonna get all of them anyway, so let's just go with the Violet Drake. Complete. Wait. This goddamn beauty right here. The amount of time and effort it took to get you. It really is like a shark and a dragon had a child, Jesus. Oh, damn it, that was a good angle. Anyway guys, thank you for watching, I hope you've enjoyed this. I hope I can see some more of you again tomorrow when we, hopefully get in some raids, or maybe some Shadowlands if we get really lucky, and I will see you guys next time.